And you are on.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody.
Production.
Welcome. Okay. I'm Debbie, dietitian. Hi, Deb. John. Yes, chef. Yes. We're talking today about summer and spring foods. And so John and I were saying a lot of what do we want to do? And so we decided maybe picnicky foods, or I would even say if you're going to a potluck or a barbecue, you know, what could you bring? And so John has an awesome sandwich, which I'm dying to try. I've got a street corn salad and a potato salad. It's everything but the bagel, you know, that seasoning. And I've not made it before. This is my first time making it, but my sister makes it. It's her go-to for potlucks. So I'm hoping it's really good too.
So you're gonna try it first, right?
I'm gonna try it. Yeah, I will. I will. Okay, John, we didn't really talk about how we wanted to do this. What do you want to do?
Well, this is gonna be quick because there are only a couple of steps on mine.
Okay,
So the first is to make a slaw. This is gonna be a barbecue soy curl sandwich.
All right.
And it's gonna be the soy curls and a barbecue sauce. Topped with a slaw. This slaw will be dressed or not dressed. Naked. But we're gonna give it a dressing just to give a little more acid to with the slaw. My experiment was with buns. I'm not a big fan of burger buns. I was thinking initially that we could do this with a baguette and just whack off the size of sandwich you wanted, and with a baguette after the first day, it gets to be a challenge.
yeah,
And it will not yield to your without persistent gnawing or something. So we're gonna go with Dave's Killer Bread
All right.
buns. And see how that goes.
Yeah.
So the recipe for the slaw is really simple. It's a half cup of vinegar, quarter cup of maple syrup, no salt. And I guess I should throw in some Dijon just to,
I think that would be fun. A little squirt.
well, anyway, mix the syrup and the vinegar.
And that's a bagged coleslaw mix.
This is the bag coleslaw mix. This is found at Safeway. It's the color coleslaw with cabbage, red and green, and carrots.
All right.
So it's got a nice spray. And a lot of the recipes you see online will have that too. That's a lot of work if you're gonna stand at the grater. So get the bag if that's what you're into. Throw in a bit. It's about 2 teaspoons of Dijon. And then we're just gonna let it sit. One thing that, I don't know if your experience with coleslaw, but by tomorrow morning, there's gonna be a puddle of water. Now you can defeat that by salting it first. And like right at this point, draining out the water, rinse it. And that will have pulled out all that water that tomorrow will not be. We are going to go with this, and we're just gonna let it sit. You can throw in other things. Celery seeds are a common thing you could throw in. Celery seeds are not a common thing that you'd find in your cupboard unless you make a lot of coleslaw.
The celery seeds have more flavor than regular celery.
They do.
Yeah, I think you do.
So you'll have them come through more.
Mhm.
And also, I don't know if their sodium content is any higher or lower. But celery seeds will last forever in the cupboard, which,
That's a good thing.
yeah, coleslaw forever.
That's right.
So I'm gonna let that sit and close to you.
Okay. So, when I was growing up, I didn't like coleslaw. How do you traditionally make coleslaw?
Go to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Exactly. Everybody loves KFC coleslaw.
Yeah.
So what do they put in it? So it's coleslaw mixed with what?
I'm gonna say sugar. It's-
Sugar and mayo, I think.
Yeah,
And I don't really love mayo, so I never like coleslaw, but I love this kind, the tangy kind. That you put on top of salads, sandwiches and stuff. So thank you, that's really good.
We always put onion in it.
mm.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I always thought I
You
didn't.
can
like it.
throw some in.
Oh, yeah, I like it just how it is. Okay, so John turned me on to this website, Blaine So Simple, Blaine. Shane
Shane and
Simple. And he has a lot of great recipes. Is yours from his?
yes,
Okay, and so I picked his street corn. And so it all called for 3 cans of corn. So I got the no salt added corn. Drained it, rinsed it up. And luckily Linda reminded me about 11 o'clock that I was supposed to be roasting it, not doing it in a pan. Because for some reason in my mind, I just thought, oh, you're just going to do it in a pan. But she was right. So I just threw it in the oven for like 20 minutes. And then threw it in here, and then we're just gonna put a dressing on it, like we're doing everything. I'm really just assembling too. Now, the thing with our picnic meals, generally, they all call for mayo, right? And that is true of this one, both my recipes. But we made a tofu mayo. Well, and by we, I mean Leanne made it for me.
Yeah.
And so you could do tofu. Both my recipes had a version of a tofu mayonnaise or a cashew mayonnaise. And so cashews can be pretty high in fat and pretty expensive. So I went with the tofu, use a silken tofu. What else did you put in there? Do you remember, Leanne?
Yeah, some lemon juice, nutritional yeast, Dijon mustard, and we chose a savory salt.
Savory salt as
Yeah.
opposed to salt.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm putting in both of my recipes today. How do you make a mayonnaise, John?
short of getting the bottle.
Yes, which is an option, you're right.
The mayo we have is usually, if it's light, we're gonna go with Greek yogurt.
Okay,
And if it's a little heavier, we're gonna go with the cashew mixed with Greek yogurt.
uh-huh, okay. All right. So we did the tofu based one. So you put your corn in here. And then you are going to, sorry, I need a little more room. I'm gonna use just a 1/3 cup of the mayonnaise to make it just really a dressing for my salad. And then it called for a 1/3 cup of, and this is how the recipe, I pulled out a 1/2 cup, a 1/3 cup, and we still have this much mayo left. Thank you for doing that. And it also calls for a vegan Parmesan. Now you could buy these, like you said, you could get the jar. You could get a jar of vegan Parmesan. You could get a jar of vegan mayonnaise if you want to go vegan, or if you're not going vegan, you could do the light or the fat-free. But for the Parmesan, you can make your own, and John has shown us many a time by blending up almonds and what else goes in there?
Cashews, and nutritional yeast,
Cashews, yes. Nutritional yeast.
onion flakes, and miso.
Okay, oh, I didn't put miso in this one. But so it calls for a 1/3 cup of that too. I make a jar of that and then I write my vegan parm on it and I just keep it in the fridge and pull it out when you need it. To put on pasta or to put on a potato or to put on anything you need. So what else does my recipe call for? Sorry, I'm not good to memorize my recipes as John is. And then we got our lime juice. What?
Not much to memorize.
So I'm gonna do where did my little tablespoons go? I've lost it. I thought I had 2 tablespoons. Oh well, I'm gonna make it by doing 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon, right? So my lime juice, I have Sarah to thank. Oh, thank you. For doing all my chopping and squeezing of my limes. Okay. And then it calls for a little garlic powder, which of course we didn't have, so we're gonna use granulated garlic.
Which is what I call garlic powder.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is.
Yeah.
And then what's my other smoked paprika and chili powder. teaspoon of that too.
Shame is not all that simple.
Well, I think the thing with making stuff like this is it calls for like 3 recipes to make this one recipe. But once you do that, you have all those things laying around. So you have them for a long time. And then my last thing is a little chili powder, which I could have sworn I was put out here too. Oh, let's do that.
We'll sit in.
Yeah, that's good. And then I'm just gonna whisk it up. And then the things that I add to my corn, which I had just thrown in that bowl, so I'm gonna add my red onion. Again, thanks to Sarah for chopping my red pepper. And it called for pickled jalapenos. Have you ever bought these?
Mm-mm.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
No.
And so I bought these, Sarah diced them up for me. And they are called tame, so they're not as hot as buying like a hot jalapeno.
Oh,
And then some cilantro. So pretty. It's beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm gonna whip this up, and John, you can take over while I whip.
Okay, so we're gonna make the hard part. I'm gonna warm up some soy sauce. So it's, I don't need oil. We're just gonna, I've hydrated the soy curls in water.
Thanks.
And then we'll put the barbecue sauce. Shane, has, his homemade sauce. Has a cup of ketchup. And then about 10 other ingredients. They add to things like Worcestershire sauce. And soy sauce. Chili powders and the like. It all comes out to roughly what I get from this store bought. So I'm opting for a facility here. This is something that the soy curls will take whatever sauce you want to put on. So if you want to go Moroccan, if you want to go Italian, you can add those spices. Or Indian for that matter. There is a tandoori chicken recipe for soy curls where you can get a tandoori flavor. We talked a lot about sodium last week, and the sodium count on this is everybody, all the sauces talk about a serving of 2 tablespoons. Even the recipes for make your own, they tell you in tablespoons. They're all gonna come out about the same, which is about 250 milligrams of sodium, which means that you're not gonna have 3 of these. Unless that's your meal for the day. Because these are 350 a piece. So you're getting salt.
But if you think about just one meal, we're supposed to have 1,500 milligrams of sodium or less. Our next talk, our nutrition talk will be on sodium. And so that's about 500 meal.
Yeah, that's. And the soy curls themselves have 0. So you're just counting the sauce. And the cabbage is, but there's nothing in the dressing. So really you're looking at the things that you did not control, which are the bread and the sauce. So being a control freak.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
It angers me and I tend not to. So this is, Shane will say, make a double recipe, they're really saucy. This is about as saucy as I like. I don't like things falling all over me. I would say a two napkin sandwich is not the kind of sandwich it makes me have. Light, you know, be normal and so now we're gonna, this is now heated. What we're gonna do is put a lid on it, turn the heat down low, let it sort of marinate for a bit.
So you're not a sloppy Joe then?
No,
This has kind of a sloppy Joe look.
it does have a sloppy Joe look. Yeah, now the ideal for me, probably making this, I would start off with an onion, chopped it up, sort of get some caramelized, and then go with the soy curls to warm them up, and do a little sauce. And let the onions carry some of the flavor with the sauce. And I could even throw in, I was tempted to bring red bell pepper strips because those again, they're really good on a sandwich. It almost brings you to the two napkin phase. So anyway,
So we're aiming for one napkin, so.
we're aiming for one napkin, maybe a wet cloth. A washcloth.
A wet wipe.
Yeah, but this is, you're at a picnic, you're gonna wanna play frisbee or read a book or to do something you don't wanna be sticky. So,
You
anyway,
bring a book to a picnic? Are you reading sonnets to somebody?
I went to one where it was totally,
Oh,
this is one of those things where everybody was hanging out and just don't bother us.
So your sandwich would not fit in the loaf of bread juggle one you love.
No,
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 no.
no. I'm gonna be, you know,
Loaf of bread, sloppy joes. And
yeah,
not this one.
yeah, mug and a burger,
There you go.
you know, slop.
Okay, so I'm just pouring my dressing that I just whipped up onto here, our Mexican street corn salad, and then you just mix. And I think this is a nice thing to bring to a potluck.
Yeah.
Or on a picnic, because you don't have to worry about it going bad so much, because it doesn't have real mayonnaise in it, doesn't have eggs in it. So, you know, you still want to keep things chilled, but I think this looks really nice. I think, and if it's good enough for Shane, it's good enough for us. I like Shane.
Well, he cooks for his kids.
Right,
It's
Oh,
the-
so he has harsh critics.
he does.
He does.
You're right.
Critics who will arbitrarily say, not in this mouth.
Right.
So now that we're in the season, and this is what I tend to do every season, I get one recipe, and that's gonna be my go-to when I have to go to a potluck. Or to a picnic or something. What's your go-to gonna be this year? Or in the past? Your recipe,
3-bean salad.
3-bean salad, perfect.
My daughter would make ratatouille, never.
Oh, ratatouille, okay. All right, what else?
Maybe with, Caesar salad.
Caesar salad, okay, that's a great one, all right. Anything else?
Pasta salad.
You know, pasta salad, I love that one too. You're absolutely right. And it could be exactly like this, except you got pasta instead of corn. Or you could use corn too.
Yeah.
Made one pasta salad in the New York Times.
Oh, how was that?
Excellent.
New York Times. You New York Times readers, you're good cooks.
But it would be veganized as we used, it was supposed to call for pasta stuffed with cheese, so
Uh-huh. Oh, tortellini?
tortellini stuffed with cheese.
Okay, that's great. I like that kind of pasta salad too. What'd you use for your dressing?
Um, olive oil and bread.
Perfect. Yeah, I think pasta salad's a great one to bring too. And it's easy to make usually.
I made enough for 2 meals and I wound up eating one.
Aha.
You do a farro salad. I've had one of those recently that was,
Okay,
it's not a food that I usually try.
yeah.
And,
For the kids,
okay,
kids at a picnic, the watermelons.
oh, yeah, a melon salad, so
Oh, that's good.
that's when well, you can slice melons and that's easy. Or you can be fanatic like me with a melon baller and a very big bowl of things. But the nice thing about that is you can stab it with toothpicks or whatever.
Note to self, invite John to all my picnics.
Yeah, there you go. That's the secret.
Get him early, get him on coffee, he'll make it.
I think when you have, somebody wants you to bring the fruit, I think a watermelon is good.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just, it's easier than having to chop all those different fruits. And usually cheaper. Okay, should I keep going?
Yeah, I'm basically done.
Oh, okay. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my everything but the bagel potato salad. So I use Yukon Gold potatoes,
Yes.
3 pounds of them. Everybody like those? So those are nice because you don't have to peel them. Not like, well, you don't really have to peel russets either, but these are nicer for a potato salad.
Farmer's market, they sell a bag like this, you can go for $3.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my gosh, I got these at Walmart yesterday. I think I spent 4 on a 5-pound bag. I think it was.
Yeah, but they're really, really tasty.
I bet they are great. You were such a good farmer's market pusher. Yeah, you always find the great things. Okay, so now this one is kind of the opposite of my last recipe. This one, you mix your dressing in here and then you throw your potatoes on top of that. So how do you generally make your potato salad? Or what's the potato salad you grew up with? Mayonnaise, mustard, pickles,
Celery.
eggs, you're right, celery,
Onion.
okay,
Onion.
onion, there you go. And bell pepper? Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, my mom didn't do it that way.
And mustard.
And mustard, yeah, okay. So this one's kind of similar. And this one I'm gonna use some onion. It called for a little green onion, a little celery. It called for you just chop up one little pickle spear. It used dill pickle. So, or it said you could use dill pickle relish. My family was always a sweet pickle. So, but I think with everything but the bagel seasoning, you kind of need the dill, I think. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna use that same mayonnaise that Leanne made. And how much do I need? Yep, half cup, okay. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry, I've been having this chicken in my throat today. Okay, John, you better talk for a while. I'm gonna cough.
I'm just stirring it to keep it loose. And
Soy sauce, I think together you
no. No. And I mean, there's some pieces like this where they're long. And often if you're doing like a chicken salad, they'll say, chop them down, make them, polite. And you can do that. Usually for a sandwich, I'm willing to go rogue. And just take whatever comes out of the bag. It'll be, some pieces are small, some are big. And yeah, I see, I'm ready to eat with this.
Debbie, there's mince there if that'll help.
Hang on, I'm okay now. I don't know what happened.
One thing about your potato salad, one thing we have done, so this is a California thing. My California is to throw green peas in there. Frozen green peas at the end.
That's a California thing?
For me, yeah, when I came to California, it's like, well, let's try this. And it was, they are a different texture. They're a right thing. They play off the sauce really nicely. And they take a whole lot less meat instead of chopping a pickle or
That is true.
and you don't need
And it's
any.
pretty.
It's pretty. That's the thing. So.
Am I looking right at my apple cider vinegar?
Here it is. Dave got put away.
Okay, so now I'm just whipping up my dressing. So I did my mayo, I did my Dijon, I'm doing my apple cider vinegar. Then I'm gonna whip that up. I'm gonna add all my ingredients. This one also calls for adding pickled onions. Have you ever pickled onions before? What? Yeah, I think that's great. I think that'd be great on this sandwich too. Tell us how you did it, Leah. She
It
did
was
for-
really simple. So in a saucepan, I heated up some apple cider vinegar, a little bit of sugar, I think 2 teaspoons, and seasoning. And we used a allspice,
We use some pickling spice.
pickling spice. Yeah,
That's all I can find at my house.
yeah. So that was it. I brought it to a boil, thinly sliced the onion, took it all apart, put it in a jar and poured the hot vinegar over the top of it. And that was it.
There you go.
How long do you leave?
Excuse me.
Long do you let it sit?
It's
Did-
been an hour, I think.
Oh,
Ideally, I would have made this in advance, but I don't have a kitchen right now, so I didn't. But you can keep this in the fridge now for like a month,
come on.
if they last that long. So now I'm gonna add my celery. Right, my celery. Add green onion. And okay, my dill pickles. No, my pickled onions. And this is the thing I'm gonna use. We use my those, but. Help me out with that. Thanks. You know, I always take those little, thank you, plastic things off. Do you? Or do you leave them on?
Yeah.
I take them off, but then I forget that I took it off. And then I go to shake something. So we're dividing it, so I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon first, 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. I'm gonna throw some of these little guys in that Leanne so far like. And it didn't say to chop these up or anything.
Just thinly slice them is what they say.
Say. How much do we use? Quarter cup. Quarter cup. And these are really yummy, and they get better and softer the longer you keep them. Joanne, you do pickled onions, don't you?
No,
You don't?
no, this looks really good.
And it is so much easier than you think.
Right, put one on. Stew.
Yeah, I think they'd be really good on your sandwich. We'll leave them out for that. Okay, so this, and then I'm gonna dump my potatoes over it.
Let's do it.
I boiled the potatoes for about 20 minutes. You don't want them to be like super soft, like mashed potatoes. So this everything but the bagel seasoning, is it, anybody had that before or like it?
It's pretty salty, isn't it?
It does have some salt in it. I make my own at home usually. And in this recipe, it's got, tells you how to do it and you can leave the salt out. But this one that I got at Trader Joe's has 80 milligrams of salt, but that's only in a quarter teaspoon.
Whoa.
So it's not low sodium, but you can, generally make my own and don't use the salt. Okay, how's that look?
Good.
I don't understand why he wants you to mix it in the bottom of the bowl.
Just so you don't dirty another bowl. Maybe, so I mean, you could just added it on top.
Yeah, it's,
I don't know, maybe it's just because it's already mixed,
that's,
because it's cool.
the New York Times did that with the cauliflower shawarma.
Yeah,
You make the sauce in the bottom of a big bowl and then you put a whole head of chopped up cauliflower and then the chopped up onion and all of your sauces in the bottom that you can resurrect and smear around and something. So I thought, that's not a bright idea. Let's just pour it on top and play with it.
Typically, don't you burn the sauce if you do that? I mean, your temptation is to burn the sauce at the bottom. Because,
Well, it's not cooked though. It's
oh,
you're coating it with sauce and then doing it in the oven. And that's something I like. Gravity works a whole lot better. A lazy person will rely on gravity to do some work that is otherwise.
Well, that works.
Yeah,
Then I sprinkled just the rest of my everything seasoning on there. So I'm super excited to try that. So we got 2 salads, we got a great sandwich. What have we left out of what you would bring to a picnic? Dessert, yes.
That's the watermelon.
So that could be, you know, that is the perfect thing to say. You're right. That a fruit is going to be our dessert. You're right. But we could bring brownies. So we've got some nice black bean brownies over here. Tell us how you made those.
Black beans
And oats.
and rolled oats
Uh-huh.
and syrup, date syrup.
Date syrup. Okay. All right, good. All right. They're quite tasty. All right. Anything else?
who he is.
Good. Introduce yourself. Tell us about you because you've been around for a long time. And Tom graduated from the heart disease reversal program
Right.
when we all, Linda, Mary, and Harry and I all worked together and Sharon years and years ago. When was that?
2008.
2008. Okay. Yes, and look at him, still healthy and going strong. Love that. Okay. We ready for food and picnicking?
Yeah. Stand back and
Come on up. Okay, I'll clean up this mess for you.